Welcome back, builders. We're going to take a look at a game called Great Houses of Calderia. This is a game that came out about a year ago or so, and as of time of recording was on a steep Steam sale. I believe it was on 90%. This was like $250 or something for me. Quite a good deal. I figured I would at least check it out. Now, I know a couple things I want to preface this with. One, I believe the studio that made this has gone out of business. So this is, let's call it a finished game. So if you're expecting a game that's still in active development and getting patches, I don't think we're going to see that. And two, it does sound like from the forums that at least one of the possible endings is bugged at the moment, and thus will probably never be fixed. So if those two things bother you, maybe hold off on the game itself or wait for a nice deep sale like this. But I checked it out yesterday and I thought it was at least worth a look because I like a lot of the things that they were doing here. And yeah, I think we're gonna check it out. So let's hit a new game here. The story so far. Calderia was once revered as a paradise. However, ancient rulers lusted after power and knowledge, leaving devastation in their wake. Over time, the reasons for this downfall faded from memory, and for centuries it was forbidden to even mention its existence. When the new emperor learned of the forgotten land, he disregarded the superstitious warnings of his council and granted a mandate for any noble house to claim parts of the land in his name. A viceroy was appointed to govern Calderia on his behalf. Only 2 generations into the recolonization effort, discord has surfaced. Rumors whisper that the viceroy has begun to succumb to the same thirst for power that plagued Calderia's past rulers. Our house embarked on the journey back as well. We are called, and we are going to be house, I know this is going to be a shock, builder. As etiquette of feudalism dictates, each house has different ideals to follow and traditions to value. Every family stands for something. From the beginning, we made sure we were known as, so this is going to be kind of like our starting specialization. You could choose between peacemakers with fast population growth, idealists, which make your pop happy. This is also kind of a pop growth mechanic. Warriors, isolationists, which make you have more spy defense, basically. We could be schemers, be better at spies, or scholars who use their knowledge to make upgrades cheaper. For us, we are going to be idealists. So we can see here, starting tradition. Your workers gain extra happiness from wages. This helps you gain population growth easier. Wage level 1 provides blah, blah, blah. So by raising their pay, we make them even more happy. So that's going to be our attempt. So we are idealists. I guess that's maybe, I'm going to call it a cat is our icon there. Now, from my very limited time playing, these are just starting points. Like we could go unlock the warrior stuff if we wanted to, for example. So this isn't like totally pigeonholing us in. Choose head of family. It was our parents who led the expedition to recolonize Calderia. Decades later, their time was up, but they left behind a prosperous fiefdom, large family, and beginnings of a legacy. It came time to choose who among their children would become the new head of house. Tip: customization. Character portraits and names can be edited by clicking the edit button next to their name. Customization can be accessed during the game from the character info screen. I absolutely love that. I really, really appreciate games that just let me customize characters when I want. So if I just get in a game, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have picked a different haircut or whatever. I so like that. I really do. In my practice game, we had a marriage and I was able to like change her hair, for example. I really appreciate that. Okay, so these are going to be some of our starting characters, and of them, we need to pick who's going to be the head of house. We also have the ability to re-roll, and it will re-roll all 4 choices. Starting up, we're going to have different ages, obviously, male or female, and their marital status. Either they will be married, and I believe everyone that we start with will be, yeah, their spouse will be married into our family. I don't know how succession works like in game, but it seems like this is agnostic, cognostic, elective, if that makes any sense for my Crusader Kings people. So you can be male or female, and we choose an elector is what it seems, because I could pick, like, let's say the youngest male here. So we'll see how it is in game. Going below that, these are our 4 main stats. We have diplomacy, your knowledge, articulation and rhetoric, aptitude in social situations, how you're perceived and how you behave, and ability to mitigate reputation damage. We have economy, skill at evaluating monetary value, understanding trade, mathematical skills, keeping things in order, understanding long-term repercussions. Intrigue, ability and aptitude to deceive, to notice dishonesty, your intelligence and repartee, ability to use surprising military tactics, and military, your physique, fitness, strength, knowledge of warfare tactics and combat, how intimidating you are in social situations. So very multi-use skills. I really like games that do that, where it's like strength is more than just you're really strong. Like it has other repercussions. 10, I think it's like 8 to 10 or maybe it's 10 to 12 is like considered average, and like 20 would be really, really good. So that's just kind of the numbers. Next up, we have traits. There seem to be different kinds of traits. There are these, what are these called exactly? Personality traits. So like this character here is poised, and these all do things. So poised gives an extra diplomacy and intrigue, and then we gain ability in social conflicts, unpopular opinion. We'll talk about that in a minute, but just know that these all do that. They give you an ability in social, and then they change your stats a little bit. Then there are also some different skills here. There are reputation, and I don't remember what the leaf one is, but these are more like personality traits or things that have happened to you. So like I had one where like my character was optimistic because he felt that good things were going to happen or whatever, and it changed your stats, etc., etc. And these play into event choices also. Okay, let me actually compute here for a second. So this one right here is kind of like good at diplomacy, okay in everything else, poised, carefree, cautious, loathes heathens. Okay, diligent as in almost every game is a really good ability, just plus to everything. And social conflicts gets 10 extra defense. Cool. Let's do a reroll just to see what things look like. Yeah, here we go. Here's one of those other ones. Trait life. Character's way of life, hobby, accents, memorable actions, afflictions, or interesting memories. There we go. So that is different than the reputation. Okay, let me just peek. Okay, these are all ladies. I think we're looking for a dude to play, so I'm just gonna reroll without looking too hard. You're kind of older. I'm just gonna keep banging it until I see somebody interesting. Okay, maybe good at the economy. And diligent, cautious. No such thing as too much caution. The better prepared you are, the less mistakes you'll make. We gain cautious. Extra defense. Okay, that's fine. And then carefree. Gain blithe. Extra health. So kind of like a social tank. We'll talk about the social conflict system. I think this is fine. You are married. Okay, so we have 2 married and 2 unmarried. Okay, I think that could be kind of interesting. So we're going to be Marzio Builder. There we go. All right, we'll continue that. Next, we get to make a coat of arms. Quite a few options here, actually. There are 10 different categories of symbols. Pretty good range here. I think for this one, I'm going to go with the kind of stag here. I don't know. I'm just feeling that one. And let's see what we can do with our stag. I already know that we're probably going to play right here. So we also, I mean, is there a fish? There is a fish. Is there, I do know we have a mythical. We got a mermaid. Oh, we totally got a mermaid. Let's go with it. Why not? Shout out to Oceania for that one. And I think I saw some waves. Yep, and some waves. There we go. I think that's going to be our coat of arms. Continue on. When our house embarked on the journey to Caldera, so this is kind of be picking our starting region, essentially. So we could be among the first to arrive near the Emperor's lands in the east. That's the flatlands. Your bonuses are to crops and population. We're early to arrive, landed in the south near Ermeta, home of the math magicians. There you go. Grapes and livestock. Arrived later than many and settled in the mountains to the north, which is materials and metal ore, or arrived when most of the land was inhabited and thus settled a bit further to the west, horses and gold. This beginning section, by the way, really reminds me of like King of Dragon Pass and its sequels for like building your story as you're going in. I believe the one I want is Hillsides. Yes. Okay, so this is like the flatlands. That was the first choice. Hills are down here. This is the steppes, and these are the mountains. The capital here is near this, dare I say it, Caldera. It looks a lot like a volcanic crater, I'm just saying. I believe it's a little hard to see, but this town right here, I believe, is the capital. So we are going to actually pick this one, but let's talk a little bit. So each one of these is a physical location, and I believe you always keep your location even as you're expanding your influence out. So for example, like Acante is an easy area. It gives you a little bit of a blurb about the area, and then it gives you some bonuses and sometimes some penalties to what you can do. This one here, a lot of bonuses. You have some starting workers and some starting buildings. I'm actually going to pick this one, Castavare. Being one of the 2 neighboring fiefdoms near the capital, this fiefdom benefits from profitable markets. The slopes of the volcano and the lands below are fertile for cultivating both crops and grapes. So I played this one when I played a little bit beforehand. So this is going to give us a bonus to crops. Crops are used to feed people and livestock. Gold, we need gold to pay people and to do trade. And grapes. Grapes are used to make wine. Wine is kind of like a cross between like a luxury item and a staple item. Kind of a higher end good, let's say. And I'm not going to rename it, so we are going to be Castavare. Everyone's favorite Babel trying to pronounce things, by the way. I can't quite tell if this is supposed to be like inspired by like Spain Spanish or Italian, or maybe a little bit of Latin-ish. I'm sure somebody will correct everything I say in the game. Back in time when our house still lived within the main empire, our lives were known as bourgeoisie would be what I would say for that, but that's not right. Bourgeois. Other houses get a small production bonus. We are immune to a drop in production efficiency. This, I believe, is just normal, is what that's telling. Would we like to have the tutorial? Yeah, let's do the tutorial. The members of your house can be found and accessed here. Hover over the eye icon to get more information. Press Alt to get a bar graph of their abilities. Your fiefdom is your home. Everything in the game is located physically somewhere. One of my big loves of games is when like goods have to be physically transported. So big bonus points there. Even resources are transported on trade deals, and they do not teleport. Love that. You're a vassal of House Honorati, so to our southwest. We pay them taxes. They are a count. We are a baron. Counts have several baronies as vassals. And then he is under the duchy. So we have Duchess Martorell governs over the duchy you belong in. There are 4 duchies. Duchies are indicated with the different background colors on fiefdom banners. Dukes have several counts as their vassals. Montesmio de Caldera is the capital of Calderia. Viceroy Monspara rules over the Caldera on the emperor's behalf. All dukes are vassals to the viceroy. Return to your own fiefdom by clicking the home button. Actions on the map are done through fiefdom action menus. Click on a fiefdom opens the menu. Click on the view button to look at it. The population of your fiefdom is shown here. First number is your current population. That's up here. Second number is our cap. Population increases when the semicircle next to it fills up to the top. Green bar indicates growth. Red bar indicates loss. Your population amount translates to workers. It's wise to make sure you have enough crops to feed your people. So right now we are losing a lot of crops. Each worker consumes 1 crop per day as food. Click on the farmers. Each worker assigned to profession increases productivity. Total production per day is shown here. These panels show what's required to produce the resources as well as where the resource is currently consumed. So like if we had ore and we were turning it into steel, I believe it is, then we would use ore to turn into steel, and that would show up down here. Drag and drop workers from professions to farmers until your production is positive. Okay, so let's make less building materials. We are still in the negatives ever so slightly. I'm gonna fix this a different way, but the tutorial's not gonna let me out of here. We'll move this guy, I guess. Farmers don't have a maximum worker cap while other professions do, and that's gonna be based on our buildings. Your population grows according to the happiness of your workers. So unlike most games, it's not necessarily just having surplus food, it's the happiness that makes us grow. You may assign your family members to oversee professions. The competence of your overseer may boost or hinder production. Production and happiness are the most important factors in the beginning. Those are measured by diplomacy and military skills of the overseer. All right, so they're making me do this character for now, so we'll just do that. And you can see that was a huge change. I can't fix this. A huge change in the amount of output we were having. And that's going to be because good diplomacy and decent to good military. Your surplus or deficit per day is indicated by the small numbers. That's up here, I believe. A exclamation point indicates there's a problem with production. So we are not currently producing livestock, so we have a problem. We are not currently making parchment or gold. Click the back button in the lower left corner down here, or we can right click. I really like things where you can right click to back out of menus. Your current objectives can be seen here. When you're done with the first one already, assign the overseer. Good diplomatic relations are important. Send an official visit to your overlord's fiefdom to improve relations. Yeah, so we have a little bit on the negative side. So let's click this. Let's go to diplomacy. We're going to send an official visit. I guess they're going to make Marzio do that instead of what we already assigned him to do. I like these portraits too, by the way. Very like oil, like medieval Renaissance oil painting kind of look to them. And I'll show you the customization thing, but it's pretty cool. It's a pretty good system. All delegations have to be done by someone in your family. Choose a leader for your delegation. So this is one of those games that having your family members and their stats and personalities are really important. I love games like that. I love games like that. High diplomacy skill is often helpful on diplomatic missions. Okay. You may choose who you're going to visit by selecting the family member on the right side. So this is, I assume, who is in charge of us. It's Carme Onorati, and she's got pretty legs. There you go, builders. Okay, so the green circles indicate personal relations, so that's going to be this. So she doesn't like us a little bit. We're kind of neutral. And the house relations, they don't think much of it a little bit. Choose people who like each other. Well, you're not giving me a choice at the moment. Send an official visit delegation to another fiefdom to improve relations. Send. And we have time controls. So this is like one of those pausable real-time games. All right, and another thing I love, we actually travel. Like, we're actually traveling on the map over to our countess for our visit. All right, what else do we need to do? Family member old enough to become a squire. Okay, so we have a little Taddeo builder. Okay, he's got okay stats. They're not great, but he's just a kid. Suggest that your youth would become a squire for a knight in another family in order to get military training. This will lead to an improvement in relations between the two households. And you will get a bit of insight into the other family's fiefdom, so a little spying. The child will also improve their military skills better under a squireship than at home. Okay, so the tutorial's just making me do that, so we have to do it. We have people that don't have a task. Let's hold off on that. We have 2 unmarried family members. We have Claudio Builder. Now, it's auto-suggesting somebody to do. I don't really have a strong opinion on this yet. Suggest the 2 unmarried members of the 2 houses entertain the idea of future marriage. First, you will need to find a suitable partner to one another. Then, after 45 days of courtship period, the 2 will decide whether or not they agree to marry each other. Marriage between 2 families means an alliance between houses. She is cunning, vengeful, benevolent, and a musician. He is naive, recluse, and an egoist. His main stat is intrigue and hers is better. Sure. So he's going to travel over there to try to basically date. We have Massimismo Builder. Another one. Palma. That is the same lady game. That is not going to work. That is not going to work. Okay, so let me get back to this is where we're at. Let's check our neighboring areas. So if we go to diplomacy, courtship, Massimo, they have nobody who he could marry. We're gonna have to do a little bit of pigment. I don't want to go to somebody higher. If I tried to marry into these higher houses, our family member would join them. So I don't want to do that. I want to extend our family at the moment. So we're gonna look for somebody of equal rank to us. No good. We're looking for this courtship option. No good. There we go. Okay, here we go. Sarah Salvatore. 32. Not miserable stats. She's impatient, diligent, fickle, and she killed a bear. Holy moly. Calm and arbitrary. I mean, maybe he's into that. Sure, go find out if you're into that. Okay, we have 3 family members left who don't have anything to do. Now let me get back in here and assign some overseers. All right, first I want to put this back on. We need to be making some gold. I can't not make gold. All right, so what we want is high diplomacy and high military. I believe the diplomacy is production and the military is happiness, or maybe I have that backwards. It might be diplomacy is happiness and well, here we can check that. So yeah, that's going to make them sadder. And your main stat is military. Okay, so diplomacy for happiness. Happiness equals growth. And military for production. Production means we actually get the stuff we need. So Nora here would be pretty good. I think it's Nora or Isadora. Fickle, gullible, profligate, unavoidable. You want to know those around you, and whenever something happens, you want to question those involved. And Nora is fickle, arbitrary, and attractive. All right, Isadora, you're going to be in charge of the farmers. You didn't bring them up to happy. That one is less sad. Okay, well, I changed my mind. Nora gets to be in charge. They can root for her, I guess. And that'll make them a little bit happier. All right, my second happiness one, I think I'm actually going to put into materials. It doesn't change anything. Our stats are kind of meh. Okay, we'll do that. And then you would actually just make people sad if I put you in charge. So I don't think you get to do that. You got to work on your diplomacy. All right, let's back out of there. We're going to go here, go to diplomacy, and we're going to train diplomacy with Aimee. Start training. We need to get that good enough that she at least doesn't make people miserable to be around her. All right, then let's view again. And I just know we are going to go to build. Upgrades are marked with a check mark, are already built. An upgrade with a, let's call it this hammer icon can be built immediately. Red hammer icon means we don't have the resources. Note when we are working on the upgrade, people don't work. So it's important that we have kind of a stockpile. If it has a red lock, we can't do it because we need something else to unlock it. The upgrades have various things they do. We'll talk about it here in a second. What can I actually afford is going to be the big question. So nothing here. Wages. You must pay your workers for their labor. Each profession has 3 tiers of wages to choose from, provided you can produce the resource needed. Wages are consumed daily, in addition to feeding your workers. The better the wages you can afford, the happier the workers. Remember, happiness increases population growth. Okay, so it's telling me that because we have this unlocked, so we could up their wages is what that's telling me. And I wonder, I gotta remember how to do that. I don't remember how to do that. Higher wage option. Guess we'll be back here. Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. What I'm looking for again is what we can upgrade. Quarries. Okay, that's a good first upgrade. So these are each of these different buildings. So like, this is my masons. Right now we have clay pits. This is the only upgrade we have. We could build a quarry. We could build a thread wheel crane. We could, as we level our keep, like right now we have a keep, we can unlock these buildings and they do various things. So worker slots, work effort, wages, and there's other things like this one is a companion. We'll look at those here in a minute. So let's start a quarry. So if I stopped having building materials made, I'm not going to starve to death, so that's fine. We'll do that. It's going to take me 350 days to build this, and we're going to produce materials at 30% of our normal value because the workers are building a quarry rather than digging in the clay pits. So we're going to go ahead and build that. Yes. So I used up my materials. We're producing a tiny amount, and they're working on getting that built. Okay, now we did notice, what was that on? Where was my pay? Okay, we could up the pay of our vineyard workers. I don't think we're going to do that because it looks like we would be paying them in wine. I mean, I'd like to get paid in wine, frankly, so I can understand. But we cannot really afford that right now. We want to have some materials on hand for various events and recruiting military, etc., etc. So can't afford that. All right, right now our growth is green. Very important that we keep this growing. We can fit 2 more workers. When we run out of room, we need to find an upgrade that has this symbol, max population. So like here, I mean, we really don't have a lot of options. Farmers, yeah, if we built the thatched cottages, we could up our maximum population. So this would probably be another upgrade that we would be looking for in the near future. Okay, out of there. Okay, so we have assigned an overseer. We are making an official visit. We are working on the building. That's good to go. All right, let's talk about a couple other buttons. Now, let's look down here. So we have ranks of Calderia. So as you go up in ranks, you can get, I guess these are different titles. I didn't get far enough to earn any of these, but they give you big bonuses is kind of the long short of that. We would love to get like court librarian and have plus to a bunch of stats, etc., etc. Over here, this is our tradition tree. We started as idealists, so we are most of the way through the first tradition here. Once we have this, we will get that wages provide extra happiness thing. But at the same time, we could get some warrior points and we could work on unlocking the warrior thing. I think there is a little bit of a opposite though. So like if we are idealists, I don't think we want to get schemer points. I think it's kind of like schemer points give a penalty to idealist, so we wouldn't want to touch that. I could be wrong on that. And you know, it's a chunky tree, quite a bit of them. So for now, let's not dive too deep into that. The first time I played, I did go peacemakers, which was the population growth. So just food for thought. I like doing economy strats, as you know. Winning conditions. This is the end of the tutorial. Feel free to browse your current and future objectives to get an idea what you could try. Most game mechanics will be explained if you try them for the first time. So, by my understanding, this is our victory track. We want to get to the end of one of these tracks to win the game. So, up here, we would want to make the Viceroy not like us, and then we declare independence. Here, there's a civil war, and I believe this is the ending that might be bugged. So you have to either protect the Emperor's armies or destroy the Emperor's armies. I believe they're going to come over and try to depose the Viceroy, essentially. Or we need to unlock 100 schools of wisdom tradition, build schools of wisdom times 10, and I can't see what that last trait is, but that's our other option. I don't know if we're going to play long enough that we would actually win a game, but that's just food for thought. So to go down these tracks, we need to complete various things. So for this one, we would need to unlock the isolationist tradition. We didn't do that. Down here, unlock scholar profession. We do have that. Has unlocked scholar tradition. We have not done that. So something we might look at doing. Up here, we need to construct a building. That's our current task. In the future, we need to make a trade and we need to send a court member. I believe we're doing that one right now. Maybe that's actually different than a visit, but that's easy to complete. Making a trade. I haven't done that yet, but I think I know how to do it. So could get that done also. Up here also, destiny. I don't know what that means. Something. I assume that's going to be like a world event or something. This screen right here is what really solidified to me the way to approach this game. This is a real-time digital board game. The mechanics here feel very board game-esque. If you're really into board games, and I'm talking like the deep German stuff, this is the type of thing that you would get. Obviously, it would be like turn-based, but like having house members that we assign tasks, and then we produce resources every turn, and we unlock traditions, and feels very board game to me. That's not a bad thing, just that's what made the game kind of click for me in my mind. All right, we can see we are traveling out. Marzio is making a visit here, so he should stop by right there. There he is. Also, the game auto pauses when you have an event, which I quite like. Safety negotiations. Most interactions between other families are presented with events. The event happens to the person on the left. So this is us visiting. Skills of the characters are often have the greatest impact on possible outcomes. Skill of 10 to 12 is average, 18 plus is superb. Okay, I was close. The traits also can affect events depending on the context. Hover over the skills, see what they do. We did that. Personal relations can often hinder or help your cause. So we're neutral to them. They don't like us a little bit. You may choose what the family members try to achieve, but their characteristics determine how well they will succeed. The skills of the event characters are often compared to one another. Hover over the event choices to get a hint. Select the choice of your liking. So, one thing of note, you can see here are the various traditions. We get points towards whichever one we try to do. So if I wanted to be a peacekeeper, I might want to pick peacekeeper options to try to earn points. You can see here I would earn 8 points there. 8 there, and 8 there. Sometimes you get like neutral options that just give you like 2 points. Okay, so what can we do? Plan to fortify our borders. Affects the outcome. Our military stats, so we both are okay at military. Our traits, we have carefree. I assume that's probably a penalty in this one. And then there's like a dice roll, which they call fate. So that's probably not great for us. Increase security in cities. Okay, cautious, that's probably a good trait in this context. My military, my diplomacy. So 11 and 12 versus 13 and 10. So we're about tied, maybe. We could share criminal records. We have diplomacy and traits. I don't seem to have any traits that affect it, neither do they. Let's try to increase security in the cities. Marzio suggests that increasing security at night would make the citizens feel safer. Carme thinks this is a great idea, and they both agree to increase the number of night guards. So this is what happened. Our two families like each other a little more, so she's almost liking us, and we do like them now. And both of us got some safety points. Nice. That's all I have to say. And for 35 days, we have +5 relations for a recent visit. Finish. You can check all your current, past, and future objectives with this button. We were already in there. Now we're heading home. Okay, so we have 2 people heading out to try to get engaged. We have 1 person who went to be a squire, and they should be on my list here. It's this kiddo. Tadio is going to go be a squire. Dinner at sunset. Okay, here we go. All right, come on, guys. Play it cool. Play it cool. Sarah surprises Massimo with an invitation to participate in a luxurious dinner at sunset in her pavilion. Massimo can't miss this opportunity, so he goes to the event with excitement. The dinner, with all the delicious food and beautiful evening sky painted in different shades of red, makes Sarah look radiant, and talking with her makes Massimo happy. How would Massimo make the evening last longer? Okay, so here you can see these are neutral. We're just going to gain 2 points. What are we going to do? We could try to whisper praise in her ear. It's up to fate, intrigue, and traits. Okay, this is Massimo, who is calm and arbitrary. We could compliment the dinner, which is diplomacy, which we are terrible at, or suggest a toast, which is diplomacy. So I think we're going to have to go with intrigue because we are toast on those other ones. So whisper praise in Sarah's ears. Massimo admires the effort that Sarah put into this delicious meal. He praises the perfect balance between the meats and the wine and how the flavors support each other nicely and create a rich taste. Sarah blushes and looks satisfied with Massimo's compliments. Now, by my understanding, I need to succeed in 2 of these events to have this actually work. That was very hard in my test game, let's just say. So that is, I believe what this is telling me is we're 50% of the way there. That is a weird way to show it. So in a few days, we'll have another event, essentially. Okay, we're requesting that squireship. Tadio Builder has arrived at Cavia and is being introduced to Useli Toria. How should he present themselves to Usilia? So show admiration. So now we are back on here. I think we're going to go for this one because we are idealists and I want to get that thing done. I need the points. So we're going to try to give an elegant speech with our 6 intrigue. Tadio praises Useli Toria and his deeds vividly and ensures he is approved for squiredom. Good job, kid. True builder fashion. Oh, somebody's out there sailing. That's not me. Also, you can see these areas that are colored in versus the ones that are gray. Colored in means I have some intel. So we have intel here because we are dating. There's Massimo. We have intel here because of the squire. And didn't we send the other dude somewhere? I forget where he went. I forget where he went. He's somewhere. Trust me. Hidden date. Okay, how are we doing on that build? So we would want to look at the masons. 9% done. Okay, we got a ways to go. Also, you can speed up the game. I'm just gonna play on normal, but for you speed demons. A lesson in negotiation. Marzio. Marzio passes by a group of youths attending a lecture about negotiation etiquette and tactics. The pupils are about to begin an exercise in debate when the tutor notices Marzio watching them. Good day to you, Sir Marzio, she says. Would you like to join us and show how negotiations are conducted? I'll pretend to be a member of, let's say, House Notario, while the pupils will be our companions. Agree to teach them, and it gives me a tutorial. You know what? I didn't get this the first time. Sure. Social conflicts represent several topics that have to be achieved through intense negotiation. They are presented as a tactical combat between negotiators. Negotiations are led by these characters. These are the topics that require negotiation. Here are listed. So, improve diplomacy, improve military. And we can see that here. If we were auto-resolving, you can kind of give your auto-resolve some priority, like, oh, I really want to do military, so put more points here. Companions are your entourage from highly regarded occupations, each bringing their viewpoints to the matter at hand. Each companion has 4 different stats. Here's the number of companions you currently have chosen and how many you are allowed to bring. Your opponent may be able to bring more or less. Each companion belongs to one class category, a diplomacy, economy, intrigue, military. And there's a wheel of countering. So if you're good at diplomacy, you counter economy. And so on and so forth. Continue. Choose who we're going to bring. We can only bring 2. Okay, so they have economy and intrigue. So I would want to probably try to counter those. So I would counter that with diplomacy and military. So we'll bring these 2. When you're ready to begin, click confirm. Different topics at negotiation are fought on 1 to 3 negotiation fields. The objective is to conquer the opponent's red circle starting node on each field. The opponent tries to conquer your green starting nodes. You may give orders to your units. All right, so when we attack, it'll show us the up icon if we're good at it, or the down icon if we're not. Units automatically conquer neutral and opponent-controlled nodes that they're on. Characters and higher tier companions may have special abilities they can use during negotiation. Negotiations happen in real time and we can pause. Okay, so we will go ready. We can pause by clicking pause. Okay, so we need to deploy. So we have our 3 characters. It looks like the intrigue characters over here. Intrigue is countered by military, so I'm going to deploy my military guy here. And actually, military guy, attack her. That's what I want. Okay, and then over here we have 2. This is the trade one, so we're gonna get the diplomat. Nope, I did not do that correctly. I want you to go. What am I doing here? I'm selecting things I don't know that I'm selecting. No, military guy. Go here. Oh, I've killed the simulation, the tutorial here. I did something it didn't like. I think it's because I got this guy grabbed. All right, get on the board. You need to defend me for a second. Okay, that was an oops. Okay, so the military guy is supposed to attack you. That's fine. We will retreat back to my hand. So essentially, it's kind of like just like a board game, essentially. All right, I'm gonna have to let him win. Okay, that was a big oops there. Oh, can I move? I can. And then I want you to deploy. There we go. All right, now I'm not in as much trouble as I was a second ago. All right, our diplomacy guy is actually good at getting that one, but we can't, so we'll team up on this guy. And this is like a real-time, that wasn't a great example because I fubbed it a little there, but this is like a real-time battle, and the military battles work kind of similarly too. Okay, so we've won those 2 fights. We're still on the board here, so I'm going to run over there and capture that point. On this side, we're going to try to take this one out. I don't have an ability to do it. Nope. None of our people here have abilities at the moment. Come on, get them down. We are winning quite strongly over here. All right, you rush over and take that. You get my defensive spot. All right, we've captured this point. Let's go capture that one. And the goal is to take all the, let's call them deployment points. I think that makes more sense to me. And once we have that, they won't be able to get on the board, essentially. And then obviously we would win at that point. All right, you attack there, you attack there. Nope, nope, come back and attack that. So we've won this side of the board. So now our military guy is free, so we could deploy him again. When you leave them in your hand, let's also retreat. When you leave them in their hand, they can start healing, I believe. And I think that's going to be our win. Yep. So result, you gained 1 military, gained 1 diplomacy. That was actually really good. I wish I had had that tutorial in my test game. Cool. And we'll let that go. So that wasn't the best example, but it's an interesting system. I like that they tried something different, and you get those companions via the buildings that you build. We're not allowed to do, okay, we gotta do this event first, then we'll look at that. Marzio strolls through a vibrant market square, relishing the sun-soaked day. Bustling stalls and busy carts paint a lively backdrop as they restock wares. Among them, he spots an overflowing wagon, its driver embroiled in a debate with a farmer. Marzio continues to wander. Abruptly, screams and a loud crash shatter the market harmony, erupting a short distance away. Marzio's curiosity propels him towards the chaos without delay. We could observe a crash, we could steal some stuff, we could leave quietly. We are not doing schemer stuff, so that one's out. We could observe the crash, which is carefully and satisfied. Notice this is new, we just gained this. Life is treating you well. Or we could leave quietly. Economy, we're really good at economy. We'll observe the crash site. Marzio takes in the scene of the toppled cart and the disoriented crowd. Thankfully, no injuries. Just momentary shock from the unexpected commotion. The driver and farmhand swiftly begin the task of restoring the spilled goods back to the cart, managing to upright it once more. A wave of relief washes over Marzio, realizing there's no need for him to intervene. We gained observant. You pay attention to detail. There's so many interesting things happening around you. Again, this feels very board game-like. Like we're adding these little temporary traits that are then going to modify other roles. I think it's a cool system. I like it. Okay, let some time go. Okay, now I can pull this up. All right, so in here, if we go to build, so if we get the crenulations, we would unlock archers. So if we go to war, we could recruit those. But let me find it different. Okay, well, that's not a good example. Hang on, let's get off the keep. Okay, so because we have crop fields, we can hire accountants and peasant militia. Peasant militia is a military unit. The accountant is one of those entourage units for diplomacy fights. So kind of interesting that your buildings give you both of those. So city guards. I'm just looking for more. Plaisance gardener. Let's switch again. Vineyard. We have a counselor. Viticulturist, so somebody who grows grapes. And these just do different things. So special, bonus against economy, and they have the cheer up ability. Stop attacking for 10 seconds, heal the lowest health ally with your attack power. So kind of interesting. I love games that try to make diplomacy something interesting. I think most people would agree that most games, 4X especially, never really get diplomacy right. It just feels really arbitrary. Like, will you sell me your tech for 1,000 gold? No. 1,001 gold? No. 1,002 gold? Yes. Things like that just feel dumb. Some games do it a little better than others, but a lot of them kind of go down to that level. Date at the theater. Okay, this is Massimo. This is going really well, guys. Don't choke. Massimo was told about traveling theater troupe playing at Bolovari. He decides to use the performance as an excuse to spend some time with Sarah. The troupe's Commedia di Calderia. I think it's Italian. Somebody's going to correct me, but I think this is based on Italian, or, you know, fantasy Italian. Relentlessly ridicules the nobility, while also poking fun at commoners and burghers. Sarah watches the performance intensely, and Massimo has a hard time interpreting what she might be thinking. After the first act, Massimo starts a conversation about the play. We could mock the troupe, praise their ingenuity, or try to get her to tell us how she feels. So, military, she's better than us. Ingenuity, yeah, that's right, she killed a bear. Dude, you better be on your best behavior. We can compare diplomacy. She absolutely rocks our socks. So we're going to try intrigue. It's up to fate. We're going to try to so what do you think about the play, Sarah? Massimo tries to get Sarah's opinion to encourage interesting conversations and get to know each other better. Sarah doesn't warm up to any conversation, but she looks at Massimo intensely, blushing and smiling. Massimo tries to lead the conversation, slowly gets Sarah to open up about her views about the play and its themes. They concentrate on the conversation and go back to see the rest of the play, feeling pretty excited. We did it, team. 100%. We did it. Finish. Marriage proposal. Massimo and Sarah sit across from each other at a private dinner table, their eyes fondly focused on each other as they discuss important matter at hand. They have courted each other and are now trying to decide which one of them will join the other's family and reside in their fiefdom. Once they've resolved this matter, they will finally become engaged to be married. According to tradition, the house that will gain a new family member through marriage also promises to pay for the wedding expenses. The new marriage will form an alliance between the two houses, strengthening the family's positions and resources. The cost of the wedding would be a small wedding. I believe that's because of our rank. We would like her to join us because we want more characters. Social conflict. Boy, it's a good thing I did that tutorial. Okay, so we want to improve house relations, right to arrange the wedding, or gain a free spy. Those are the stakes. We're going to bring all 4 of our companions that we have, just one of each. She has one of each. I'm just reminding myself, you don't have a special ability. I hope she doesn't either. Okay, let's not mess this one up this time. Okay, so we have the diplomacy guy here. Intrigue would counter that. So let's deploy our intrigue person and win that fight. Okay, so they actually have an intrigue person in reserve, so they would counter my diplomacy. So we should probably put our diplomacy and our main character together to try to counter that. Okay, she's got special abilities. Anxious. For 10 seconds, she ignores engaged in combat and gains movement speed. So she might be able to zip around us and go take out one of our deploy points. Okay, you've got economy and military. So economy, counters military. And diplomacy counters trade. So that should be our win there too. All right, then on this side, you go get her. And that leaves us with the military guy. Who she has not deployed this. All right, I'm going to be greedy and I'm going to deploy to try to block that. Also, remember, we can pause. Okay, he did deploy here. We can pause. I'm going to go. Well, I got to be really careful here. If he blocks me here. The intrigue characters here. You are also the intrigue character, but you'll be wounded. All right, you. No, you. Yeah. Retreat. Back to my hand. All right, and then deploy. I don't want to let him take that spot and then attack. All right, that's fine. She is absolutely trouncing us over here. You, my friend, better retreat for a second. That's okay. I don't care about gaining a free spy, if I'm being honest. Okay, we'll go take that point. Yeah, you see here, he's regenerating. Okay, we've won that fight. Now we have people back. Okay, I got to get in here. I think I'm just going to heal. Nope, she's moving. Nope, she's returning. Oh. Okay. Okay, let people heal. You retreat. We'll deploy you there. I'm trying to let people have more time to heal. All right, you come in here. Okay, retreat. We'll take that back. All right, let's get you. Zip. It's not you. You. What do I want to do here? I don't really... This is the one I actually want to win, so I got to be a little bit careful here. We have defeated her characters, so she can't get those back. The longer I can stay off the board, the more I can heal. Okay. Go here. Go here. All right. Zip up there. Nope, go that way. Yeah, look at her trying to get around the side. All right, somebody gets slipped by here. I think she knows. Yep, she knows. Okay, we're getting the other one. Come on, buddy, get in there. Okay, we got that. You retreat. I gotta be a little bit careful here so we don't run out of people. I'm buying time. All right, you retreat. All right, you two get in here. You head there. You head there. Head in there. Yep, get her. Boy here. Okay, run up there. Oh. Okay, get in there. Get in there. Hurry, hurry. Okay, I don't think she can deploy again. Woo! Whoa! See, was that not an intense debate? Like, compared to a lot of games where, like, it would just, like, make a background roll. I feel like that is such a better system. And obviously, we're just at the beginning, and we... Wait, now you have abilities? I swear he didn't have abilities before. When activated, unit doesn't attack for 5 seconds, and then our next attack is stronger. -5 attack, attacks all enemies connected to it. Okay, I was gonna say, he didn't have any abilities, which made that a little sketch. Okay, but we've won the right to host the wedding. Hopefully I have enough to pay for it. All right, Claudio did not succeed in his attempt, I guess? Or did I not send him? Cunning, idiot, daring. No, thank you. All right, so we need to find another possible spot that we can go courtship. Well, we're just going to click around looking for people who have the courtship action. Not looking for higher ranking houses at the moment. So we're looking for these one crowners. Whole bunch of people that don't have any Diplo options. Oh, because I have a wedding. House Sonador is organizing a wedding between Tosco Sonador and Maruskia Tearo. We're invited to take place. Okay. Wedding. Send a guest. Claudio. You're gonna go do that. We'll look at your marriage here in a minute. All right, arrange wedding. This is Massimo and Sierra. So we need 50 crops, 10 gold, 20 wine, and 5 materials. We're good. Arrange the wedding. Well, that was a lot easier than in my test game. I literally, I think, went through the entire bachelorette population before we actually were able to succeed. House Polmo is organizing a wedding between Gala Polmo and Mauricio Notario in Galdez province. You're invited to send a member. Okay. A guest. Boy, I'm kind of out of people. I guess we'll send Isadora. Now, as I'm doing that, I'm pulling them off of their overseeing duties. And if we pull off of the farmers, we will start starving. So we got to be really careful. We are kind of out of people. Marzio, I believe. Well, no, Marzio, you could travel if I had to. And in fact, let's get you working while you're not traveling. Okay. We are waiting for some guests to arrive for the wedding. You can also see now that the game's simulation's kind of kicking in. I believe some of these are characters. Some of these are trade. Yeah, look at this. They have all those trade goods with them. Independent merchant. One of Nora's servants reports that there is an independent merchant visiting the local market and presenting a list of interesting wares for sale. Nora orders the servants to... Okay, we could buy some livestock for a lot of gold, some materials for less gold. Take her to the merchant. I mean, her diplomacy is okay. Go to the merchant. Nora informs the servant of her intention to uncover the merchant's knowledge about other fiefdoms. Together, they approach the merchant and engage in conversation regarding his merchandise and the success of sales during his travels. With a contented smile, the merchant shares that the village have found his services to be highly beneficial. We gain the trait Curious. Okay. I'm down with that. One guest has arrived for our wedding. Yeah, all different types of places to travel. I like the map quite a bit. Just a good, like, grounded in, you know, quote unquote reality fantasy map. I could totally see playing a campaign of something in a world like this. Okay, it zipped me over here. Aimee gained a skill. So she was the one that was training diplomacy. She's up to 5. Awesome. Well, you know what? I'm glad you thought that was awesome, Aimee, because I'm going to keep training you until you can stop scaring the workers. So I'm glad you enjoyed that. Okay, 6 out of 8 guests have arrived for our wedding. Let's go ahead and just speed this up. 7 have arrived. 8 have arrived. Wedding ceremony. The wedding between Massimo Builder and Sierra Salvatore has begun. As per tradition, both brought a grapevine cutting from their homes to plant side by side. As the grapes mature, a wine will be made from them, and it's said that the taste will predict the future of the marriage. I wonder if that's based on a real tradition. I would totally believe that. I have a wild grape plant that took over one of my shrubs outside. Just like absolutely dominated the thing. It has grapes on it, but I'm a little leery to eat them because A, I don't know what kind they are, and B, I don't like keep them up or anything, so they're probably full of worms if I had to guess. Also, as they're gaining experience in their various stats, it colors in. Nice little touch here. That's a good UI that it's showing me the XP bar just at a glance here. So I can see she's like halfway up getting in economy trait already. All right, beautiful. So now if we go through here, now we have Sierra Builder. Here, let's actually jump into the customization too. I want to show this off before we quit. So I like this a lot. So everyone has the same like side view portrait, and I think they did that so they can mirror it based on which part of an event, if you're the receiver or the person taking part. But I really like that. And you have various shapes and skin tones on here, various hairs. I like how she looks, so I'm not going to fiddle with it. But I mean, this is a fair amount of options, and you could just change at will. So like, oh, I would prefer that hair. That's what she had, so I'm going to leave it. But you see what I mean on that. Pretty good choices. Clothing, same thing. Decent amount of choices here. I like that. And the backgrounds too. Some of these are pretty cool. I like these landscape ones quite a bit. For her, I feel like the clouds kind of go with the hair. Maybe I don't like the cloud one for her so much. There we go. That makes the hair pop. So we'll confirm that one. And you can just do that on anyway. I think, can we also change? Yeah, we could even change the first name. We can't do the last name, obviously, because you are a house builder. But yeah, I just really appreciate games that let me do that. It's just fun for YouTube, but even if I wasn't YouTubing it, I would rename characters sometimes and whatnot. I'm going to leave these ones alone for the time being, but also, since we're in a character here, so we can see her spouse is Massimo. She has 2 friends, Ariana and Ugo, and she has 3 rivals. Maybe that's why she had to kill a bear. Interesting. 2 family members without a task. Okay, so what is she good at? Economy, military. She's not bad at all. Let's be a little greedy, and we'll train her in diplomacy once just to get her to 10, and then I'll put her to actual work. And Massimo, now that you're back, you also really need more diplomacy. Do I spend some more time training, though, is the problem. I'm investing a lot into that. I assume that the economy skill is what I need to have them start trade routes, but I'm not sure what I want to do yet. Like, spend a little gold, maybe? I'm not certain. Also, if we come in and view... Okay, if we switch you to... Okay, that doesn't change anything there. -3. Okay, she's actually better. 12, 16, 13. Okay, so military is probably the production, and diplomacy is probably how much they like you. So we'll do that. So they like us a little bit. All right, didn't we also have... No, don't grab those. Which one? Okay, so vineyards. We could up your pay. If I did that, we would lose some wine, but make some happiness. Do they tell me how many I need here? Yeah, I need like over 1,000 points, and we're making like 2 per day, just to put that into perspective at the moment. So I would not be able to afford that wine long enough. Yeah, we just need people. So that is what that is. We need masons for materials. We're making that upgrade. We're currently losing a little bit of grapes, but that's okay. That won't run out before hopefully situation changes. And who else is still out and about? Is that everyone home? Everyone's home. Okay, let's maybe go try to fix this relationship again. So if we were to go to diplomacy, an official visit, and we're going to send Marzio, being my head diplomat here, and we're going to visit the Countess again. Pregnancy, Sarah Builder and Massimo Builder. Joyous day. Sarah and Massimo are expecting a child. Good job, team. Spy lost. Yeah, you seem to lose these really quick. One of our spies that we recruited in House Salvatore in Bolovari, the spy was sentenced to death by hanging cages. While spying on the other houses is severely frowned on, there's no legal repercussions that they can pursue against us. Needless to say, our relationship has been worsened. So maybe we shouldn't have even bothered adding a spy. Trend setting. Marzio organized a meeting with the intention of impressing Carme Onorati by showing off the builder's sense of fashion. After long preparation, Marzio arrives at Nova Gamo and his retinue and is ready to set the plan in motion. So we could march in with a fabulous retinue, which uses diplomacy and economy and are diligent. We're probably going to do that one. Looks like that probably would beat her. We could present the quality of craftsmanship. We come out a little behind there. And give her a dress we think fits her best. Would be average relations, which isn't great. All right, let's try to do fabulous retinue. Marzio's retinue makes a grand entrance. They are wearing the smoothest shimmery velvet adorned with beautiful pearls and shining steel armor pieces painstakingly crafted by expert armorers in Castavare. Courtiers gasp at the sight of the garments, unlike any they've seen before, as Marzio parades past them. He leaves Carmine no choice but to compliment them, as anything else would indicate jealousness or lack of decorum. So she really liked being fashion bullied, I guess? Because she likes us a whole bunch now? Sure. There you go. She's got pretty legs. What can you say? All right, finish. I find that hilarious as a trait, if you can't tell. Okay, but I think that's going to be it for our first little introduction here. A lot of just tutorializing, but I think when you're looking at a new 4X game, even if compared to, say, Crusader Kings 3, it's kind of a light version of it, there's just a lot of mechanics to talk about. So I'm definitely planning on doing at least one more episode so we can get maybe a little bit more meat. I'd like to progress down our victory track a little bit, and constructing that building is the first part of that. So if you enjoyed this, let me know. Comments, likes are really appreciated. Oftentimes, unless it's something I'm just feeling really passionate about, I'm going to make the content that people want to see. So if you want to see more, let me know, because that's how I judge that. If for some reason you're not currently a subscriber, I hope I've earned your subscription by showing off cool little niche games. One of my passion things that I just absolutely love to do. If you want to go above and beyond in support, consider becoming a member on YouTube or a Patreon, info linked in the channel info, or leaving a super thanks or a super chat when I'm live on a stream. Either way, I hope you guys found the Great Houses of Calderia interesting. As I mentioned at the very beginning, as of time of recording, it's on sale for like $250. I mean, I've gotten my $250 out of it already, even if I never touched it again. So kind of cool. I'm very disappointed that the studio wasn't able to make it work. That's too bad, because I would love to see more just cool strategy type games, and especially dynastic type games. This is my jam. All right, builders, get out there and build yourself a great house, and I'll catch you in the next one. Babel out.